Want to get that monster look but can't wait for the next full moon? Don't worry, I've got you covered. And I'll be doing it on my model Veronica. On her arm, so let's get comfortable on this cushion. And the products you'll need is some art brushes, cup of water, sponges, popsicle stick, cling wrap, some face paint, liquid latex, a plastic bowl, and some face creams. To start off with the monster skin, I'm going to take some face paints with an art brush, dip it in the water, and I'm just going to roughly put that on the forearm just to mark out where I'm going to go. Perfect, and that's already done. Next step is to grab your liquid latex. We're going to pour a little bit of that in our bowl. I'm going to use a sponge to place it on the skin. I'm just grabbing a small amount and spreading that all over the area. The liquid latex is used as a glue to stick our cling wrap, which is our next step. I'm just going to take a small amount, as wide as the arm, and place that directly on. And while it's still wet, this is the time to move it around. The uglier, the better. Now it's time to grab another thin layer of liquid latex. And this time, making sure you get it all around the edges of the cling wrap. This is going to set the cling wrap in place so we can paint on top of it. It's all about layers. Oh, and I'm using a plastic bowl, as you'll need to throw it away afterwards. That's the final layer, and I want that to completely dry. So it'll be a few minutes, and you'll know when it's dry, when it starts to go a bit more clear, less white. So we're going to do the final colouring now with our face creams and an art brush. Might start with the green around the edge of the cling wrap. And the look I'm going for with this is it's the start of the monster skin. When you're painting the cling wrap, make sure you're getting all the wrinkles. We want it all covered up. I'm just going to use the lighter green around the edges and bring in different colours to create different dimensions and shades. With a cling wrap here that really stands out, I might use a darker colour, maybe a blue, and just go over that so lightly. Our aim is to cover all the white. Oh wow, this skin is looking flaky and crusty. Definitely looking like monster skin now. Even when your monster skin is drying, you've got to be very delicate with it. And just taking a clean art brush, I might just take the yellow and just add that anywhere where I feel like it needs it. This is just going to create different dimension and layers and texture. And get your hands dirty, I'm going to use my finger to blend it out. How does that look on camera?
That looks awesome.
Okay, cool. That's our monster skin done. You're ready to freak people out for Halloween. And just some tips for taking it off. Get some warm soapy water, massage it through, and it'll be all gone.
Anthony has asked me to come down the beach today to take some photos for an art project he's working on. So I thought I'll give you guys some tips on how to take an awesome beach photo. Now when you're taking photos of surfers, what you want to do is find the peak. That's where all the surfers are basically going to be sitting. Find a spot like that one over there, that's where the surfers are. Pick your frame. Now you can go as close as you want or as wide as you want. It's all framed up. Now all you have to do is wait for that set to come. Okay, here comes a wave. And he's off. Keep an eye out for cool and interesting objects and textures like cliffs, trees, sand, and even cool little jellyfish. That one over there. Framing your photo is another massive thing because sometimes you take the perfect shot and then you realise there's a big stinky bin right in the middle of your shot. So what you want to do is really check your frame before you take that photo. That's a nice shot. Yep, I've got some great shots here. Now all I have to do is get these off to Anthony and I hope he likes them. Earlier on Get Arty, I showed you how to take an awesome beach photo. Now I sent them off to Anthony to see what he can turn them into. Let's see what he can do.
Okay, these are great. I've had a look at the photographs that Nathan has sent through, and I can create something really cool to hang on the wall with them. Now the things you'll need, some cork tiles, your photographs cut out into a square shape, some twine, a paintbrush, craft glue, screw eyes, which are little screws with a little hole at the top, which you're going to use to hang up your images later on. A pair of scissors, a ruler, and a pencil. If you're making this project at home, make sure there's an adult around to give you a hand. So I've printed out all my photographs on A4 paper, and what I'm going to do is use the square tile to draw an outline. Now before you draw an outline, pick a part of the image that you think works. I'm going to use the heart-shaped space within the wave. Grab your pencil and draw an outline. Grab a pair of scissors and cut along the square that you've just drawn. We have all our images in a square shape. Now it's time to coat our tile with some craft glue. Grab your paintbrush, dip it in, get rid of any excess, and just brush on a layer over the surface of the tile. You actually need quite a bit of glue to cover the entire surface. Now it's time to put your photograph onto the tile. Now before you do so, make sure you line up the print and start to press down from the bottom up. If you kind of slide it across, that's okay, just readjust it. And then smooth out any creases or bubbles. And I'm gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes to dry. All right, it's been 5 minutes. It's time to cover the photograph with another layer of glue to make sure it's sealed in. It goes on white, but don't worry, it will dry clear. We're gonna repeat those steps for the rest of the tiles. Remember, tile, glue, photograph, let it dry for 5 minutes, with another coat of glue to seal it in. So you need to let these dry for an hour. Make sure you place them somewhere where they won't be blown away or be stepped on. So I've left my tiles to dry, and now it's time to place them in the design that I like. You can put some lighter ones at the top, some darker ones at the bottom. You can even tell a story with how you place them. See which photographs sit next to each other. Sometimes they relate, sometimes they may not. Just keep playing around to have a pattern that you really like. I think that's mine. It's time to place in those screw eyes before you put them in. So I'm going to be hanging them in columns. So with the top row, there's a pair of screw eyes at the top and a pair at the bottom. And that's actually going to be the same for the next row beneath. And now the bottom row only has 2 screw eyes in at the top. Now grab your ruler and pencil and mark a point 2 centimeters in at the top edge and do that across on the left. And then again, the bottom. And now it's time to screw them in. This can be a little bit tricky. Repeat the step for the rest of the tiles. Time to tie the tiles together. I'm doing them in columns. So these 3 are together, these 3 together, and these 3 together. And I'm tying with twine, threading it through the eyes and tying it in a double knot. And I'm just cutting off any excess twine. So we're measuring some twine for the top part of the column here, about 30 centimeters. So we have enough room to tie a knot and cut off any excess. So we're going to double knot it on both sides. And there you have it. One of your columns are done. Now all you have to do is repeat it for the other 2. Okay, awesome, that looks great. Now let's go hang it up.
In my world, what I paint can move and talk back, which always makes things interesting. I'm Julie Tattam, I'm an artist and I specialise in body paint. I think what I love most about body painting is that you develop a relationship with the person you're painting. So it's not like painting a canvas or a wall. The person lives and breathes and needs breaks and gets tired and has really interesting conversations during the process. It's really a privilege. I came to body painting from a really different angle. I worked in financial markets for 12 years. But for a while there, I was volunteering at the children's hospitals, just face painting really sick kids. And I just found that I looked forward to that day so much every week that I wanted to make a career out of it so I could do it every day. I think my favourite part of the body to paint would be pregnant bellies, the nice big round, and you have lovely conversations with the pregnant mum. If you're going to paint a picture onto a body, there's a couple of different things you need to do. So you need to find the picture or artwork that you're going to paint on. You need to scale it up to the size of the person you're painting. And then you need to look at any lumps and bumps you might be painting over so that you can get your proportions right. One of the most important things is to use body-safe paints. So you can't just use craft paints or house paints on the skin. You've got to use proper professional face or body paint. It's easy to take the paint off. It's water soluble. You just go under the shower, a bit of soap, off in a couple of minutes. I think the trickiest part of the body to paint would probably be the hands. I mean, it seems simple, but they're quite contoured and bendy. The process for doing a body paint changes depending on the type of body painting you're doing. So, for example, a camouflage body paint, you want to work out where the person's going to stand. So if they're standing in front of an artwork or something, then you have to work out often where the sun's coming so the shadows don't get cast. And then you have to work out where you're going to shoot from so you can line all those lines up. So what I'm doing here is I'm camouflaging my hand into this piece of artwork here so that you're not going to be able to see my hand. I'm using this face paint here. We can't just use any old craft paint or house paint. And I'm taking the white and I'm lining up all the lines so that you can't see where my hand is and where the artwork is. When I set up a camouflage body paint, I always use a recording device or some sort of camera so that I can see it exactly how the audience is going to see it, and then I paint it in mirror image. I like to think there's no mistakes in body art, but I can understand how frustrating it can be when you think you've messed up. I teach body art as well, and my students are often coming up to me and saying, how can I fix this? But I always say, just a baby wipe it off, start again. There's no mistakes in art. If you're interested in getting into body art, what I'd suggest is getting some professional body paints. Start with painting your own face, painting your friends, painting your dolls, but just make sure that you get professional face paint. Okay, final touches done. Time to move my hand. Woo! I'm Julie Tattam. I'm an artist and I specialise in body paint.
Hi, I'm Toby Riddle and I'm going to draw a donkey. It might look easy for me to draw now, but that's because I've been drawing it over and over and over. So it's a bit like signing my name or something. It's gone a little out of whack. The drawings don't always turn out exactly as you hope they will, and that's okay. The eye I chose for this character is like a big oval shape with a big pupil. And it seems to make him look excited and a little bit childlike or something.
Do you know what's better than an elephant and better than a duck? A duck and an elephant at the same time. I'm going to draw them together in one creature. So, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out which features I'd like to take from each of the animals. So I think I'm going to start with the elephant's trunk and maybe his ears too. We might do a practice of the trunk first in pencil because it's a little bit tricky. It kind of looks like an S. Can you see that? And then it's an S on the other side too, following the same shape. And then at the end, just a little half circle. So now we've practiced. Let's do the real thing. Here we go, our S shape, curving down and back up again. So I would always do the trunk first because an elephant's trunk sits on the ground, so then you know how big the creature has to be. Next, I'm going to start with the eye. And the eye is it's following on from the trunk and it's a big oval shape. And then over here, I'm going to do a second eye. This one's a little bit wider. There we go. And two more ovals in the middle. for 2 pupils. And don't forget some eyebrows. Every cartoon elephant needs those. Next, I'm gonna fill in the face. So he's kind of got a circular face. So I'm gonna bring a line up and around here. And then I'm gonna put some tufts of hair on the top of his head. Those can be a little bit tricky too. So let's practice those in pencil. Just up and down, up and down, up and down, 3 little triangles. All right, now let's do it in pen. Here we go, 3 tufts, 1, 2, 3. And we'll finish off the head. Now, for the next thing, big elephant ears for hearing all sorts of elephant things. I'm gonna curve a line up the top here, and then 1 down the bottom, and I'm gonna draw a line in between them to kind of make like a football shape. There we go. I'm gonna follow that line up the top there to create the edge of the ear. And I'm gonna jump down now to the mouth, and that's just gonna be a triangle. It's just like a triangle that's tucked in behind its trunk. I'm gonna follow that triangle shape just underneath to make a slit. There we go, he's smiling. And follow it up here and curve it just a little bit to make the shape of the jaw and the bottom of the face. And now I can put in the second ear. So again, a curved line here, and then 1 down the bottom, and that football shape straight up there. Now that looks a lot like an elephant, but it doesn't look like a duck at all yet. So maybe what I'll take from the duck is its duck body, a quack quack. So I'm just gonna draw kind of an oval shape down the bottom here. So I'm gonna give him like a little hump in his back here, but then it's gonna move on up here, the tail. He's got a little duck tail. Now, next, legs. I'm just gonna put 2 straight lines, and then at the end, we need some feet. Ooh, but the feet are a little bit tricky. Let me show you in pencil. To do the feet, just need to start out like you're drawing a triangle, and then put 2 sort of half circles meeting in the middle, and then you've got, see the foot shape there. Let's draw them for real. There we go. And we're gonna put 1 more leg in there behind him, just so he doesn't fall over. But he probably will with a head that big. And don't forget a tongue and a wing, so it can attempt to fly. Okay, time to colour in. So I was thinking, because this character looks a little bit more like an elephant than the duck, maybe we could colour it to look like the duck. So it could be yellow and orange. And because both of those colours are quite light, what I'm going to do is press a lot harder on the page so that the colours really pop. For the ears, I picked a lighter colour, and I'm going to make it darker where it's closest to the head, and then bring it out to a lighter shade.
Well, I think this is great. I think it's really cute, and I love the colour of it as well. It's really vibrant and gets my attention.
So it could be yellow and orange.
The first thing you're drawn to are the eyes. That's a clever way to sort of bring in the audience.
I think they were trying to show feelings of happiness.
The composition is not great. A central composition is always a little bit predictable, which may suggest that the artist is new at this sort of thing.
A quack quack.
A background might be nice to make the yellow pop even more. It's popping at the moment, but even more would be great.
Do you know what's better than an elephant and better than a duck? A duck and an elephant at the same time.
Something to do with a combination of an elephant and a duck. I don't know, that's what I'm thinking. So, a delephant?